Turns out this guy's not just lowballing customers on rusty antiques, but wearing some of the most expensive watches you've ever seen. We're going to take a tour of Rick Harrison's top 10 watches and which one actually contains a piece of the Titanic. Kicking off our countdown is the Panerai Ferrari Granturismo. Rick Harrison doesn't just deal in classic cars on Pawn Stars, he wears a bit of that vroom on his wrist too. One of his flashiest timepieces is a Panerai Ferrari Granturismo in rose gold. Actually, Ferrari isn't just for the garage, it teamed up with Panerai to create this automotive-inspired watch. With its large dial, gold case and Ferrari prancing horse heritage, this watch basically says, I've got an empire and I'm not afraid to show it. It's estimated to cost around $20,000 to $30,000 today, and that's basically pocket change when you're making $50,000 per Pawn Stars episode, right? Rick sporting this limited Panerai is the ultimate power move, blending Italian racing style with Swiss precision. Now, if you thought wearing a Ferrari on your wrist was bold, wait till you see Rick's taste in high-flying pilot watches. All the way at number 9 is the Breitling Chronomat. When he's not chasing down historical artifacts, Rick apparently likes to imagine himself in a fighter jet. Maybe that's why he owns the Breitling Chronomat built for pilots and speed demons. Taking a little trip down the history book, we found out that Breitling originally designed the Chronomat for the Italian aerobatic squadron. Safe to say, this watch was literally made for daredevils. With its busy dial and iconic bezel rider tabs, it means business and maybe pleasure. You'll find that it's sporty, oversized and unapologetically shiny, much like Rick's negotiating style. Seeing a pawnbroker rock a high-end pilot's watch is ironic in the best way. He spends all day buying other people's stuff, but this is one piece he's not letting go of. Now think a pilot's chronograph is impressive. Buckle up as Rick's next watch takes us underwater with a flash of gold that even Neptune would envy. Of course, no luxury watch collection is complete without a Rolex. Rick Harrison checks that box with a Rolex Submariner Date Bluesy. This is a famed two-tone steel and gold dive watch. It has a blue dial, very classy, and practically has its own fan club. The two-tone sub screams 1980s retro cool, combining 18-karat gold and stainless steel like it's ready for a yacht party or a day at the pawn shop. Rick, wearing the Submariner, points him back to his Vegas roots. As a diver's watch, it's built to go 1,000 feet under the sea. However, the only deep dives Rick usually takes are into piles of historical trivia. Still, this iconic Rolex on his wrist shows he's got classic taste to back up that swagger. Meanwhile, Rick's next piece is a complicated dress watch with a moon on its face. Curious? Just wait. Rick Harrison owns Blancpain, one of the oldest and most prestigious Swiss brands around. The model is the Villeret Quantième Complet, a mouthful that basically means it's got a complete calendar moon phase display. Imagine Rick, the everyman pawnbroker in a flannel shirt, secretly wearing a watch that shows the day, date, month, and even the phase of the moon. It's like finding out your local diner cook can also whip up a Michelin-star meal. This Blancpain is elegant and nerdy in the best way. It's the kind of watch that whispers wealth rather than shouts it. Perhaps Rick wears it when he's in gentleman collector mode, sipping a fine whiskey and contemplating his next big deal. Either way, it proves he's not all flash, but appreciates the fine watchmaking art, and probably the hefty price tag that comes with it. Now, don't get too comfy in those dressy vibes. Rick's collection is about to swing back to bold and sporty. Taking our number 6 spot is the Tudor Black Bay GMT Pepsi. Even billionaires appreciate a good deal, and Rick's Tudor Black Bay GMT is proof that he values bang for buck. Tudor is Rolex's sibling brand, and the Black Bay GMT gives you that classic red and blue Pepsi bezel look without the Rolex price tag. It's a vintage style travel watch that displays multiple time zones, perfect for when Rick's jetting off to appraisal events. The Pepsi color scheme screams retro adventure, and it adds a fun pop of color to his lineup. Trust Rick to recognize value and style combined, as the man loves a good deal, and the Tudor GMT is exactly that. Now, before we move on to Rick's next jaw-dropping watch, are you enjoying this wild ride? If you are, smash that like button and subscribe. Now, get ready because the next watch comes straight out of Hollywood legend. Gracing our list at number 5 is the TAG Heuer Monaco Golf Edition. This watch is the square-shaped chronograph made famous by Steve McQueen in the film Le Mans. Interestingly, Rick's version is the special Golf Edition with the iconic blue and orange racing stripes. Using your mind's perspective, Imagine this watch as a little piece of 1970s racing history strapped to Rick's wrist. It's funky and tells the world that Rick doesn't just deal in history, but he wears it. It's like he's saying, I can bargain for a 1960 Mustang one day and channel Steve McQueen's cool the next. This watch adds a pop culture punch to his collection, and we love that he isn't afraid to rock an attention-grabbing piece. After all, if he spent years on TV with Chumley as a sidekick, you know the value of a conversation starter. However, Rick's next watch is a military-grade beast capable of surviving a war zone or a day in the pawn shop. When Rick wants something indestructible on his wrist, he turns to the Breitling Chrono Avenger at number 4. This chunky chronograph is built like a tank. Appropriately so, since its titanium case makes it both strong and lightweight. Rick was even spotted wearing this exact model in some episodes, underscoring that it's a go-to for him when he means business. The Chrono Avenger has that rugged military vibe, and the kind of presence that says, I could time a bombing run or just my coffee break, your choice. For a pawnbroker who's seen his share of wits and bids, a battle-ready watch makes sense. It's reliable, just like how Rick likes his deals. And let's face it, strapping on a watch favoured by special ops types has got to boost your confidence when a negotiation gets heated. Now, we've seen flashy, as we've seen stealth. How about downright scandalous? Rick Harrison owns a watch that contains actual metal from the Titanic. Romain Jerome Titanic-DNA is a limited edition timepiece forged with steel salvaged from the sunken RMS Titanic. It doesn't get more dramatic than this. Some call it morbid or controversial, but you have to admit it's a conversation starter. The watch's design leans into the theme with a distressed, rusted look, as if it came straight from the ocean floor. We don't know if Rick picked it up because he loves the history or just the sheer novelty, but owning this watch is so on brand for him. If there's ever a watch that encapsulates porn star's vibe of turning history into cash, it's this one. Love it or hate it, the Titanic watch is undeniably one of Rick's most jaw-dropping pieces. Now, after that Titanic shocker, you might think we're done, but Rick has more tricks up his sleeves. Climbing to number 2 is the Resco Instruments Bullfrog. You probably haven't heard of Resco Instruments, but Rick Harrison sure has. He owns their Bulldog dive watch. Resco is a boutique brand known for making rugged watches used by Navy SEALs, so of course Rick had to have one. The Bullfrog model is all about function and toughness, with an aim that implies it'll work just as well underwater as topside. It's the kind of watch you wear when you're ready to get your hands dirty. In Rick's world, that means sifting through a dusty attic for treasure. This pic shows Rick's collector cred runs deep. He's not just about big Swiss names, but appreciates the niche and military grade stuff too. Now, after all that grit and grind, it's time for a watch that cleans up nicely. Rounding out Rick's collection is the elegant Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Day and Night. In stark contrast to rusty Titanic steel and chunky divers, the Reverso is a slim, refined dress watch born in the 1930s for polo players. Its clever flipping case, designed to protect the crystal during polo matches, gives it the name Reverso. On Rick's model, the dial has a day-night indicator that oozes old-school charm. This is the kind of watch you'd expect on the wrist of a European banker or a classic Hollywood star, not necessarily a Las Vegas pawnshop boss. It shows he doesn't just chase modern pieces, but appreciates a slice of Art Deco elegance too. The Reverso's rectangular case and heritage vibe prove that behind Rick's wisecracks and tough negotiations, there's a true aficionado who respects watchmaking history. If you ask us, we'd say this is the perfect finale to his collection, bridging the gap between past and present, rugged and refined. Love him or not, Rick's horological adventures are never boring. On the flip side, have you ever wondered what the most expensive and rare Seikos watches are? Trust us, you'll be stunned at how a brand known for affordable pieces can produce watches worth a small fortune. Smash that next video and let's keep this luxury ride rolling.